on, artist participants, testimonials, and activated spectators. Over time, he's going to explain to you over the next hour what all that means. It's a collateral event of the 56th Venice Biennale. And he set up the I Am Foundation specifically for this project. And he's been curated Mazzotta Foundation. He's been involved with the Mazzotta Foundation for 10 years. Valentina's worked with Leonardo for the last 10 years in Italy, in Moscow, in all kinds of environments. And I'm going to get, and we also are lucky enough to have two of the artists who are participating in Leonardo's project here with us today. So I'm going to let Leonardo tell us a little bit about your time at Mazzotta.
You know Mazzotta, you know Italy, it's a land behind the red fish and white cow in Switzerland. So we are close in the area where the connections are difficult, some in other space, but you cannot imagine how much it's difficult have a vision differently from the past. So Mazzotta world was built from one man, Gabriele, and he had a vision about art from the 60s, because the father, Antonio, was a big collector. Big collector means that was the big private museum in Europe for 20 years, more or less 10,000 pieces of art from the 9th century. German, Austrian, and Russian one. Be a part of this world means for 20 years to see how the project can change, burn and die also. So when I was 40, the system Mazzotta was a museum with 3 million people in a period of 4 years, more or less, visit the museum. 3,500 publisher art book, publishing an old world, a gallery, small one, just to change the opera in the caveau, and
to change the works of art,
to sell and buy, but just for build a collection for exhibition. And also relationship between the most big auction house in the world. And I started to work inside after my study in electronics, and I see like a spy how this world can be destroyed by the politician and change of social situation. So the possibility are just two: destroy and stay there, on move and see the problem and start to change something. So after 25 years, we decide to generate something different that start from these three experiences: book, exhibition for visitors, and change the relationship in the world through the arts. This is the most interesting part of my work in Mazzotta. The other things, say story, it's not interesting.
And Valentina, what was your experience of working with Leonardo at Mazzotta Foundation? Because he's obviously a maverick, he changes things, he goes in and he does it differently.
It was very brilliant because we started together in going abroad when we were, it was 2008, and we were asked to go to Moscow, that for that time was quite crazy place to go, to start up a new gallery. And there we decided that everything was going to change in terms of global art market, to new trends coming up, but also we need to develop a new system of doing art. So that was very trying, of course.
A new system.
Okay. So which brings me to my next question, actually.
Yeah.
When was the idea of what you're doing now, this particular project, first conceived? How was it conceived?
You know, in nature, something burns in a few seconds, but developed in many years. This is for the man, for the human in general. The idea starts during the night when I stayed in our museum for a long time, in the night, in silence, in front of the big piece of art, I think, big Chagall, Kandinsky, clay, world. And many times I asked to myself, the real relationship between the piece of art and the people in front of the piece of art. And I understand that the future for the new idea is to complete the relationship in this space, like Valentina and this piece of art. I start to define the strategy, because this space, empty space, for me was too much empty. And the IM Foundation and every project that I started drawing from 2009 are to study in infinity thinking every time by night how I can manage a different relationship between art, artists, people, visitors, system, rumors, testimonials, spectator, and put everyone in the position not that I need to define, like a player of
chess, yes.
But just to drawing the map. And I start to imagine how an artist can leave the piece of art in the middle way, how the testimonial of this fact can be involved, and how the spectator can be involved, the mecenate, collectors can be involved.
And you started this in 2009?
Yeah.
So you've been working on it now for 6 years?
Yeah. We start to study how involve country, not people, country, in a way of social identity program. Not, I like this piece of art, you are a good artist, I'm a good curator. But
so
we have
more
some,
than just that.
yeah, it's more than, art is more of these things.
And Valentina, I remember when you started the IM Foundation, right? So what was the idea behind starting a new foundation for this?
So it was, that was made on purpose for fitting the project of Italia Docet. So it was the form that we necessarily had to develop in order to have the project inside, and in order to be presented to the Biennale committee that was waiting for a project that was connected to what Leonardo was working on since a long time. So it was really a natural relationship to create something that will involve the project.
Many times, many people have a good idea, but the body that contain the idea is not easy to recognize. I went to build IM Foundation with the vision that the body and the idea have the same form.
Should vanish together.
Okay. Now the other thing I wanted to ask you is, now we've been talking, I know, since the last Biennale, since the middle of the last Biennale. Can you explain for everyone here your concept of this open structure project? And because I know you say that this is an open structure project, which is a different way of thinking about art. And like you said, it's like breaking the trend that exists.
Open structure. It's difficult to imagine that one structure can be open. But if I build this structure without windows, it's closed, obviously. If I open the windows, it's open structure. And many ideas can go outside, but also can arrive from outside. And the relationship is every time to build something together, not just in terms of collaboration, but in terms to change the DNA of the idea and move from the future with energy and empathy that everyone can be put inside of the same things. So open structure, it means that everyone can put the small parts, but with the power of many people. And open, no, it's not open to Milano or open to my friends. It's open to global vision of culture for new generation. This project, Laboratorium, it means it's a school, very simple, where there are not magister or a student, but there is people that build a lesson, and the lesson comes from different country, so we can have an ideal university of life for vision. And for me, because I stay for a long time in museum by night, the artist is the best scrittore della storia, writer of the story.
Lovely, lovely. And I'm sure you'll agree with that. Yeah, because you're always talking, Mr. Oshinova used to teach a lot of the students now who are masters today. So what were some of the main issues you came up with, or the main problems you had when you started putting this together?
I'm a lucky man. So I don't find a big problem. I find
solutions. Usually find
I'm engineering. I don't sleep many times. I find a solution. The life is not problem. The life is life. The solution makes the difference. So not big problem, I'm sure.
No.
The main was that the dialogue with other people, because everyone built their own vision. And when you go to the artists and galleries and say, go on to make something together, in Italy especially, they ask you if you are crazy, because why I need to work with you, what you want from me, and the same question, very easy one. So I defined the new name for the things, so the people don't understand nothing. I opened my book from engineering electronics. I said, I would like to build a motherboard. What is motherboard? I know what is motherboard. Don't worry, it's a motherboard for Biennale. Okay. So I changed and just tried to describe the project. Come with me to Biennale, okay, thank you, but please read my paper, 45 pages.
That's one of the questions I asked you, the whole motherboard question. I asked you lots of questions about motherboard.
This is my secret. I don't have big problem. I put the problem inside the brain of other people. And I said I have no solution for you. This is my strategy.
And it works.
And they go on to work.
And Valentina, what was the problem you came up with? Because I know you deal with the practical aspects of it.
Practical
everyday
aspects are always to translate Leonardo's vision.
Italy to Italy.
Italy to Italy. This was the main problem, because of course in other countries or with people like you, it was a continuous dialogue. You were open, and I was there to explain, and we just talk a lot. But when people have just like different vision or not a little bit narrow-minded, then that was the problem. We just cannot get into their brain.
But you still have a few Italian artists in the project.
Yeah. The one of the artist, Federico Guida, was from the beginning of the project, because Leonardo was using his help to build and.
My vision is a theory. The artist can say yes, no. It's a filter of life. I have this idea. Everything is artist. Everything is artist's vision. The concept of architecture, the shoes, everything is a vision, creative one. And so I asked directly to the artist, what do you think about that? And the artist helped me to combine theory and practice. And when I drew in the 45 page for Aabru, the director of Biennale, every time, also in the Biennale sent to Valentina a letter, what Leonardo means.
Exactly.
What Leonardo
and
means.
which is exactly what you're going to explain to everyone now. What does this motherboard mean? Because even the artists involved would like to know what motherboard means.
Motherboard is easy. This is a motherboard. And inside like hardware, and every piece of technology, maybe also there is a base, a buffer, technically buffer, the name buffer, with the rame.
Wafer, yes.
Wafer.
Yes.
Rame, elements, electric elements for circuits. And the motherboard is something that is here. And you can put on many things to change the output from the input. So I would like to give you just the matrix of the motherboard. As, for example, my iPhone speaks Italian, your iPhone speaks English, but it's the same motherboard. Different elements change input and output. So the global culture for me can start to build the future, the global culture, build the future for the man of the future, start from something good. Yes, I made one choice, and I select the drawing of Raffaello Sanzio for La Scuola di Atene, the School of Athens, that he made in 1008 for Papa Giulio II. For the Pope. And he described the philosophy come from Athene, Greece, and described the situation where the philosophy, in terms of knowing, go on through a simple work with hands, movements, and speaking. And in this big drawing you can see young men and old magister. But every time, in every point of this enormous drawing, you find hands, hearts, and brain.
So that's why he has chosen this work of art, because it was quite a very good example of motherhood in terms of starting point where everybody can just see the culture, the base of the culture.
Not Italian culture.
Not Italian, just
Mediterranean culture.
Yeah. And Valentina, do you want to tell us about how his concept of the motherboard is translating into the project?
Yeah, so...
and literally how the project is going to look.
Literally, we decided to choose the drawing, so Raffaello's drawing, and not the fresco that is in Rome, because usually the drawing is recognized to be the very first glimpse of the artist, the very first vision of it. So it was our idea base. And then with the help of this Italian artist, Federico Guida, we divided the drawing that is 8 meters for free into fragments. The fragments for Leonardo were so many parts of the same dialogue, of the same story. And each fragment contains a group of philosophers. And we decided to give this fragment, so this part of the drawing, to different artists in order to work on it with their own vision, with their own technique, with their own method, with no rules at all. And then the first thing that we are going to do in Venice is to display them together and matching like a new drawing, totally new, new concept.
The difference is opera or corpus opera.
So work or body of works.
With the relationship with you and your artist and the other artists, we don't rebuild or redrawing Raphael. We build a new corpus opera. In this corpus opera, don't speak about people born during Renaissance, but people born now in the last years. And the other people, when look at big corpus opera, they must understand and learn new lesson. Exactly like the lesson of Raffaello, Socrates, Cicerone, Diogenes. This is the base. But now the base can be other people that come from everywhere. So I don't want to change people. I want to put a new corpus opera
on that. But tell me, the very traditional people, did this upset them? Or do you think, the very traditional way of thinking, where they'll say, oh, but he's worked over our Raphael School of Art. Do you think this could ever potentially be a problem for you?
Now I have 10 years old. And I don't think that they can have some problem with the corpus opera. I know that they use iPhone every day, technology, many language, many culture, many things. I'm old. My daughter is the future. I asked to my daughter, what do you think about that? Beautiful, so go on. For me, it's quite perfect. We are global people.
Yes.
Why don't build a global culture through the artist?
No, absolutely.
The problem is that when the Roman said, divide et impera.
Divide and reign.
This was the problem before me and my daughter. So for me now it's rebuild this kind of vision in terms of communism.
Economy?
No.
Ecumenism. In terms of widespreading a message all through a larger community. So
Okay.
A community.
Joining globally.
Of vision.
Okay.
Community of vision.
Global community. Okay.
Maybe.
And also, I know this is your third time at the Biennale, right? So can you tell us about your previous experiences and how they developed to this point? So your first project, your second project.
First project come from Russia to Italy because Italian women stay together in the street and fight for something that they don't build. So I asked to 48 powerful women to describe the culture from the past after the war destroyed. And I
Russian women.
Russian women.
Yeah.
And I put this monument in Venice like a
So
man.
there's 48 Russian women.
48
portraits.
portrait, yeah.
Portraits, yes.
But I don't describe the women through the portrait, but through the lesson of a tradition change.
Okay.
And I asked some artists to draw its portrait and became a big forest of the nature of Italy. I put this monument in Venice, and I don't know why the president of Italian Republic gave me a medal.
Yeah, there was a prize, a special prize for the project.
But I also in saying this time, I think, to my daughter. Oh, ok. Io ho fatto per la fine.
That he has done this also every time, like for ideally for his daughter, in terms of doing something
For a new lesson.
New lesson.
For a new lesson.
A new lesson for the next generation to
Yes.
come.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Lesson.
Yes.
And the second project was the same things.
So the first project was the 48 powerful Russian women
Yeah.
put together.
I stayed 3 years and run through Russia
Okay.
And meeting
to
them.
meet people just with the hands, because I don't speak Russian.
Oh, right.
Yes. That's
Really?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I don't know.
And he was explaining that they should join the project and being a testimonial of a history that really is hardly known in
Right.
Europe and in the rest of the world. That the Russian society is made by women, and they are really the
Strong.
Yeah, the power, the engine of Russia.
Yeah.
But outside Russia, nobody knows it. So that was.
So they
It's a
all
lesson
came to the
from-
Biennale to see the
Yeah,
project?
exactly.
It's a lesson. It's
Yeah.
just a lesson. It's amazing why I want the lesson from the best magister. Everywhere there is a magister, I want this lesson. I don't want dogma. It's very dangerous. From Italian I can say it's very dangerous. The second project, after this medal, I don't know why, this monument go to the Museum for Culture in Russia, in the Palace of Governance. And they use for the
The
politician.
fact on the Red Square.
In the Red Square,
Museum on the
yeah,
Red Square.
yes. And they use for politician election, so not me. The second project is the same things, but I involve not one country but 52.
52 Eurasian
Can
countries.
you imagine 52 years?
Yeah. And I would like to say that we are child from the Mediterranean Sea, and the grandmother on the south moved, and for everyone we have the same DNA. And I asked some ambassador to come and said these things in front of a drawing. We put together Palestinian and Israel ambassador, and me in the middle. And also in this time, yeah, like a selfie. And also in this time, I don't know why the president called me and gave me another medal. So it's a destiny to collect.
To collect.
Yeah. And it was even
I
better.
prefer a new car, but
Next time,
Yeah, you will ask for.
this time we've got lots of nationalities, right?
Yeah.
Each president can give you a car.
now the president is changed, in
Italy.
So I hope a new car.
And Valentina, tell me, what have you learned, through these kind of his different way of thinking, through the different biennales? What are the lessons that you've learned?
Is that everything is possible, because at first when he starts to talk about the project, also for the one of 2013 that was quite big, involving 52 embassies from Eurasia, and I was going, my God, Leonardo, I think this time we will not manage it. I mean, it's a big project. And he said, little by little, I know that we are going to arrive where we want to arrive, and this is the power of his open structural project. It's always a work in progress. So we need to do a lot of steps, but when you have vision and you know exactly where you're going, at the end you reach it. So this was a great teaching.
The other thing was, what was your thinking? So the first project that you really took international was your second Biennale project, where you had 52 countries. So what was your thinking in making it international?
No. Che cosa è stato per renderlo internazionale?
I'm just email.
No, what was the concept? Why did you think about taking it to different countries? Like the Eurasia project, which went to, you got 52 countries involved.
Write a good email. And with the email, with the technology, we can send a good empathy of your thinking.
Right.
And I sent 55 emails.
That's all you did?
Yeah.
55 emails got you 52 countries involved?
Not so easy. I worked for 1 year. But in Biennale, I put the monitor on the wall with the video when me and Valentina, the assistant, called the ambassador.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, please. Hello? Go on.
Yeah.
And me, I come from, hello, go on. After 1 year,
why did you make it international? I wanted to know why did you want to go to all these countries?
Because we know to be a contamination, we need to have a magister from other country that said something new for us.
Learn new lessons.
New lessons. So I ask you, it's true that I think these things? Yes, it's true. Okay, good. It's true if I tell you these things? We have responsibility for the next generation? Yes, it's true. Thank you. It's very easy, but we need to have something easy but real.
And I know that you're sort of already planning for the next Biennale. What would you do differently next time from what you've done this time? Would you do anything really differently?
The big difference is every project is different. The responsibility in art is from the artist, from the curator. I spend many time to involve people to understand how the artists are important for the future. And my time is invest to meet people. I realize more or less 25, 30 appoint meeting in the week. And every time I ask to be a part of the project and the program, not just in terms of collectors, but in terms of energy. Buy a piece of art, but help the artist to realize something. And this is my work every hours of my life. Change the position in front of the arts. I would like to see a collector behind, to push it, and not to look. This is my...
So, do you want to explain this vision that you have of getting everyone involved? What you were explaining to me about how you get every element of the project to be part of the project. How it's a dynamic project.
Yes. In these terms, everyone is an element for the project, and everyone can give something for the project, not just in terms of economy, but in terms of energy, also in terms of everything. And when I meet one people, I know that this person can meet many people. And in these terms, the spectator can change the position and become activated spectator. So if the project have a good feeling with the time, with the place, with the person that look at it, every element of the project, the artist, the curator, the piece of art became more
Charged.
Yeah, don't have the money to buy. No, buy is not the aim. The aim to understand that the change, you want the change, yes, participate for the change, not look at from the television, the change channel. No, move, make something, just 1 hour sometimes.
Get involved.
It is interesting. The crisis in Italy, the crisis changed the vision of these things. Now it is possible. I put on the table in Venice, in Fondazione La Biennale, it's a relation, an ONU relation that I have from ESU, Index of Human Development.
Okay.
And they wrote that the relationship between Sud to Sud, South to South,
Okay.
go faster because they move in different way in relationship with Europe.
Okay, so the Southern Europe
Yeah.
works differently.
Yeah, move very fast.
Right.
Because the relationship between the women and men are different.
Okay.
Respect, fight, and this is, for me, it's amazing. I am worried that my culture in this time sleep.
In terms of a place like Venice, I mean, I've been to the Biennale, and installation must be quite an issue. Can you tell us a little bit about the issues that you face with installation in a city like Venice, where everything is being taken in the canal, there's old buildings?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your experience in the last two projects where the installation.
The terrible experience or only the good one?
What a both, a bit of both.
Like having the works of art coming up on the boat while it's raining, and you have to take them safely to those small stairs of these old Venetian palaces. Well, it's always something that it's always a little nightmare, but in the end, of course, the history of the town helps you a lot to put anything together, because it's the only town that never changed and would never change. So it's the most contemporary town in the world because it's always there, exactly like you have
Very
seen.
interesting.
And so in the end, while you are there, and we are going to display also this year in the venue we had in the past Biennale, it's an historical Venetian palace on the Canal Grande. It's made with those tissues that are just like destroying themselves time after time, but at the same time you feel that everything has passed there, inside those places, inside those rooms, and history and cultures and peoples. So it's an amazing experience, because like in no other place, it's like out of time.
But I don't even know how people get those artworks into those buildings. I mean, I was more fascinated with the installation.
Yeah, it's quite.
As an engineer, you must be, it's fascinating. How do those buildings? Sometimes you wonder, is it going to collapse with all this stuff in here?
And sometimes it happens, but in the end, everything goes in the right way.
Let's hope not.
Hopefully not. No.
I'm a lucky man.
You're allowed, so don't collapse. Okay, and I want you to tell us, I mean, this is my final question for you, and I know about your plans for the future. And I know you've got lots and lots of plans.
Our project starts and don't finish in a month, but in years.
How many years?
The first from during for 3 years. The second one don't finish from the country. I'm at 23-24% of construction on my aim. This program, I made a promise to Biennale that starts in during this Biennale and don't finish. Because it is a movement of thinking. And so why finish a good things? Potentially can go on. I know the step.
Okay.
I don't know the future. I know the step. The first step, we involve the artists from different countries. We define the method. Venice Biennale and the director of Biennale said okay for the method, good idea, and for the project, okay.
Which is
we're
done.
waiting. Yeah.
Which you've done.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
You go on. Start to do. Start.
So we open. We
Open.
really open.
Open.
Venice.
They don't ask me when you close. No, I meet the Biennale many times to put on the tables the small new. We open. When you close, I don't close.
They probably want to know when did the project finish, and that's what I wanted to explain to the people. But how you plan to continue with the project.
Yeah,
What's your
we
plans?
have now. We show the first part of the 10 motherboards. The first part, I mean, 3 pieces of art for each motherboard for 10 times. And in the middle time, I would like to select 160 fragments made by artists from different countries to have a corpus opera that describes the contemporary new master for new generation. They come from south, north, east, ovest, west, from everywhere in the global earth, same earth for everyone. I would like to show many artists that describe many different ways to feel in good mood the life.
Okay. And have you already started thinking of the next project?
Of course, because I draw in this next project in the last 6 months, and I show the project to Biennale also. The name is Cluster, and I think that the last part of my works, the last step.
How would the
The
audience?
philosophy, when we describe philosophy like a mother of many different sciences, and I would like to come back to philosophy, not just to have an answer, but just to have a question. And so I would like many people that said something, and the people that look at it and learn the art object, and read the project, start to make some new questions. So it's not, the aim is not to build something statics, but questions. To empty, to build something from me, and the future that not come from the past without questions.
Okay, so how I interpret what you're saying is that so each artist is then bringing something new and raising, so if you're looking at literary works again, you're actually creating new discussion for the future of the book. So the book has actually evolved into something different and is bringing new experiences in. It's no longer the same thing, but that platform has been used to raise those issues.
Exactly.
Okay, I understand that.
It's just a laboratorium.
Yeah, I understand that.
I don't
it's a
know
lovely
if
concept.
the correct solution.
Yeah.
I think that I'm a normal man, so this can be the solution. It's just, I try to.
Yeah.
The question is, everything that around me is the lost vision, is one vision. Can I have another vision? So I try to drawing like an engineering project to give another place where we can go.
But why not have the same work addressed by individual artists as opposed to putting it all together in that same one united piece of work? Is it something to do with your values about globalization, about we all being one, about we come from the same place? that? Because you can ask each artist to do his version of that motherboard separately, but putting it together means the idea of merging it.
So she's saying you've taken fragments out of the motherboard.
Metterli tutti insieme al posto di lasciare che ognuno facesse la sua cosa, parte del fatto di trovare una visione globale,
We can meet in the square for 5 minutes during our life, and after that we separate. But when aliens look at it, meet together. After that, I don't know where we go, you go. I mean, if we go together in this place, we can show the power of the method. After that, the piece of art come back. Don't stay there. I don't fix it. They stay there and they go back. But for 3 months, I show the opportunity. So I can describe the movement of the fragment. The fragment is a metaphor of culture. I am Italian. I take a piece of my culture from the Renaissance. I don't build the Renaissance. It's my grandfather Renaissance. But I don't make nothing from the Renaissance. But I find inside dignity of the man something that I like, the substantia of the works. It's interesting for my daughter. I asked to cut the fragments. It's algorithmics. The same elements of the big are in the small one. In terms of geometry, it's complicated, but it's easy. When you find the elements in a big culture, you can find the same elements in a small part of it. I take this fragment and I ship them, and I want this fragment back with a new lesson right up. And stop.
Thank you very much. I think definitely you are a creative person. You are an engineer. I think you are a bit ahead of your time. A bit of
pioneer.
Yeah, I read his write-up. You know, I told you initially I was reluctant. I said, this is a crazy idea. It's a good idea. But this person is nuts. I looked at it and I said, somebody did a work in 1508, a drawing by Raffaello Sanzio. He died very young, but an interesting piece of work. And somebody is asking the new generation, the now generation, to put an interpretation, now from different cultures, and put these fragments together. You know, I was telling you, when I was working on the fragment, people in my house were interested because they felt there is something, this is strange. I said, it's strange. The person is crazy, but the idea is good. It's a good. So I was enthusiastic. The people in my household would like to see what has happened to the entire fragment. When I was working on the project, because we were asked to send the work as in progress.
Images.
So after some time, I take a photograph. I have to send this. And my daughter said, you know, you have never done anything like this. I said, it is crazy, but it is good. You know, everybody was excited.
And I know you were so involved in it didn't you?
Yes,
You were
at the
so
final.
excited about it.
Because I had to stop a particular project I was working on, to work on the project.
And by the way, this project was a book about him. There's a book and a movie being done about it. So he put everything on how to do this.
So, it was quite exciting that somebody envisioned this, somebody thought about things. And I said, this person must be deep. This person must be deep to have thought about this. Why could maybe then I am sure that your fellow Italians will look at you twice sometimes.
Yeah.
Are you normal? Because you are, but at the end, by the time the project is completed, that is when you actually appreciate, the depth, and the vision of I'm happy I'm meeting him. A lot of us would like to know what happens to that project at the end. It shouldn't just stay in Italy. There has to be some effort to put it out, internationally, so that people will see, what this is all about. There has to be a way of giving it some publicity.
Would you like to, at one stage I know you were thinking of making it travel. What is your view now? But because I know there's a bigger project planned with this.
I know you said you've done your part.
No.
It's not complete.
He's done 1/10.
Yeah,
He's got a lot more planned.
We start to build in April for a platform on web that speaks 30 languages. And I think that idea and the content of your lesson for the world can move from the platform with technology, and the piece of art can arrive in the house of some people that collect the piece. And I would like that this man, mecenate, collector, speak about the program, and so the idea can go on. And the technology now helps us to make a revolution. And so I think that also that my aim the next month is build the mirror of the program on the web with many languages. And I start to build this opportunity, not just to show what you have done, but just to show and learn. And I would like to draw a software where you can change the position of a piece for an infinitely chapter of the lesson of life.
You're sounding strange to me.
Can I?
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a very refreshing exercise. I've had very interesting comments, and as you call it, our boss, it almost over there, has just expressed some things that I was thinking about. And I was going to ask if you had ever had any feedback or maybe a perception about you being a danger or a threat. Because I was looking for a way to put it out until he decided to speak. And I think it's because you are not satisfied with the status quo. You're like somebody who can kick a piece of toy and rebuild it. You're never satisfied with the way things are. You think there's still something behind that level of creation that if you keep trying. something just might come out. And I think that is a very good experience for an artist, especially maybe someone also a bit conservative in nature. You never know what you can achieve if you're not pushed by somebody like him.
Yeah.
So I think I would sum it up as a very pleasant threat or danger, you know, to the status quo. Threat, danger, but pleasant.
We have, I don't build the museum. There are the museum everywhere. Inside there are artists. Why? Why we don't have a museum of pharmacology? Because you have in the hands something different. Stop.
I want to, on a very light note, because the way I see everything, you are trying to construct everything. What they call Renaissance, want to break it down, and though you don't know how to go about it, I'm sure you put it to somebody to solve. So I want to ask you, because I know the protection of your soul, you see it when you see. What kind of drink you are when you see?
Obviously, that's not to be shared. That's not to be shared.
I can call you tomorrow. No. I don't want. No. I appreciate everything the men do. Wow. I know the difficult to build everything. Also this glass. I would like just create something behind the glass at the bottom. There is the future. The future exists. And I would like just to go on. But not me, the other with me. It's just to go for a holiday at the summer and to the sea. I know there is the sea. I'd like to go and play and come back. For me, it's just not to go on. It's just to go and come back. Build and go to sea and come back. Just in this way, I can make sure to build something interesting. Go and come back. Not dogma, also for me. My dream are, I don't want to have dogma. I want to create and critics destroy and rebuild myself for the make big error. Mistakes can involve the other people that I love. So quiet. When I look something that I don't like, I ask myself, there is a solution. Yes, maybe. And I decide after engineering electronics, I don't want to build something, but I try to build something light, not so hardware, but software, through the heart. So I start to work to wash toilets for experience for 1 year, because my aim was to stay lonely in the museum by night.
Wow. Yeah, when you
Really?
were 20, it was very young. Yeah.
I would like to stay in front of Chagall with no one, but I don't have money to buy Chagall, so I try to wash the toilet and look at Chagall. He's a solution. He's a solution. And after that, I would like to see Klim and Kokoschka and Schiller. I wash the toilet, I know. More than the collector. I look at the book, I read the book. Lonely, in the big museum. Which one have a museum for 20 years? Every time I wash some on.
Yeah.
I changed the lights, really.
Yeah.
And
Still now it's doing
I
anything
close,
that.
when I go in the gallery, I ask to make some smoke
He had to help somehow and yeah.
to stay there. I understand space.
Leonardo, I'm going to have to wrap up because we'll go have drinks now.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say the one thing that what you're saying reminds me of, where you're this open structure, is the economy that's really taking off. It's the sharing culture. It's the Uber cars. It's, I don't know, it's the Airbnb. You know, the businesses, it's Facebook, the businesses that are doing the best involve a sharing culture. And what you're doing involves a sharing culture. I think it's the next step in art. So, someone said you're before your time. I think you said, sir, that you're before your time. You are before your time, but then those are the people who change people's mindsets.
Yeah.
So thank you for being with us. Thank you for involving us all in your project.
Yeah.
And we're really